Welcome back, everybody. Now today I'm back with a product called the Pacuzzi, which can supposedly turn any skillet into a steamer. This product was requested by a subscriber of the Frequent Reviews newsletter. Shameless plug. But it sounded interesting and I want to try it out for myself. But let's jump into the unboxing and see what's inside. Here's the box itself. They say Pacuzzi Skillet Steamer. They also refer to it as a humidifier. Let's open up this package here now. This card supposedly has some times on there, if you're supposed to use the mat or not, so just helpful tips. A warning here, do not cook on high heat. Some instructions in the box itself. Something tells you when you have a sticker like that, someone had some problems with it and they're telling you not to use high heat. So let's make sure we don't do that. All right, here's the mat. It's a lot more rubbery feeling than it looks. It's very rubbery feeling. In here we have a measuring cup, which I can't get out of here. There it is. And there's the Pacuzzi itself. So this is the contents. I paid about 30 bucks for this. 30 bucks. Seems kind of steep for what you get, but maybe it's worth it if it works really well. They say you can turn any skillet into a steamer and cook at near microwave speeds to reheat food. 2 ounces of water will give you 8 to 16 minutes of steam. Now there really isn't an Amazon listing for this, but I did look over their website, watch some of their videos. They seem to focus on the reheating aspect of it and the rehydrating, not really cooking a lot of stuff from scratch. Like I was thinking maybe you could do rice in there, but 2 ounces of water is not enough to do rice. So you can probably rehydrate some rice, but not cook them from scratch. Now the main thing they show in all their advertising, all the videos and everything is them reheating up, or I should say rehydrating, a slice of pizza. But I have to say that I've been reheating my pizza in a pan for years. I didn't have a steaming function. So what I'm gonna do for my first test is the one they're showing the most, which is a slice of pizza. I'm gonna do 2 pans, 2 slices of pizza, one with a Pacuzzi, one without. And we'll compare and see if there's much of a difference. So once again, I really haven't found much information on this outside of the website itself. Supposedly it was on television though. I've seen a few TikTokers promoting it, but that's about the absolute worst place to get product recommendations. So I'll give you a real review here. If it works, I'll tell you. If it doesn't, I'll tell you. But let's head in the kitchen and start off with 2 slices of pizza, one with a Pacuzzi and one without. All right, it is time to warm up some pizza. Now somewhere they said the Pacuzzi works best with a 12-inch pan, so I've got 2 12-inch pans. Ninja Foodi Never Stick and my aging but still functional Hexclad. First up, start with a cold pan. They're cold. Next, we're supposed to add the Pacuzzi to the side of one of the pans. Press it down so it sticks. It's stuck. Next up, add 2 ounces of water and put them both on medium heat. Now, as soon as this starts steaming, I'm supposed to lower the temperature to medium low, add my food, and cover it up. Now, I have to say, I just noticed it kind of pop up a little bit, like the suction didn't quite hold. Maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe it's to be expected as temperature changes, but I did notice it kind of popped up a little bit. Oh, the water is coming out the edges. I don't think it's supposed to do that. Try to push that back down. I don't think it's supposed to do that. I'm still waiting for it to steam. It's been like 4 minutes. I don't see any steam whatsoever. We are currently at 5 minutes, no steam. It sounds like it's boiling in there, which maybe that's a good sign. I guess I'm seeing a tiny bit of steam. It's not much steam, but they say when it starts to steam to add the food and cover it up, so I'm gonna do that. Adding our pizza here, covering it up. And we're off. There is steam coming up on this lid here, so it's doing something. No steam on the Hexclad. They say it'll take about 4 to 6 minutes. Of course, it took 6 minutes to start steaming. But we'll compare these two, and after about 5 minutes, I'll open it up and see what the difference is. All right, it's been about 4 minutes now. Let's take a closer look at these. I have noticed there's steam on the Pacuzzi side and not on the Hexclad side, so that bodes well for the Pacuzzi. Let's open these up and see what the temperature is on the surface. I'm gonna take it right at the surface here, a 144. Hexclad side, definitely colder on the surface. Finger test, that's pretty warm. Not as warm. It is not as warm. It definitely made it hotter on the Pacuzzi side with the steam. It's definitely going to town now. Let's take this out of here. It's still going even when the burner's off. And here we go. Let's try these out now. One of the videos I saw online, they were scraping the bottom with a fork to show how crispy it was. Let's do that on both of them and see if there's a difference. Pacuzzi side, it's pretty crispy. The Hexclad non-Pacuzzi side, also pretty crispy. Temperature-wise, just by feel, the Pacuzzi is much hotter feeling. But the only thing that really matters is the taste test. Here we go. Pacuzzi first. Now the Hexclad. Well, I got kind of good news and bad news after the first round. The good news is that it did get hotter faster. Also, the fact that the crust was a little bit crispier on the Pacuzzi than the non-Pacuzzi. The bad news is that it took quite a while for it to start steaming. I probably could have been done with the non-Pacuzzi pan by the time it actually started steaming. So the amount of time you save for it going hotter, you actually lose waiting for it to warm up to start steaming. But that's just one test though. I mean, I think that the results was a little bit better from the Pacuzzi side than not, but the extra time you waste waiting for it to steam, I'm not sure about that. All right, before I go on to round 2, I kind of went back and double checked everything to make sure I wasn't doing something wrong the first round. I did notice something kind of interesting. These directions state to use 2 ounces of water. The website says 1.5 ounces, and their instructional video on YouTube says 1. So come on, what is it? I also noticed really small type down here, way down there, they suggest trying hot water to make it steam faster. So for round 2, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go less. I'm gonna go 1.5, like the website says. I'm gonna use hot water, and hopefully that speeds up the process a little bit. So let's head over to the stove and get started. Let's go for round number 2 now. One thing I noticed is there's a mark here on the bottom of my pan that didn't come out real easily. I'm gonna have to work on that. Wasn't real happy about that. It's kind of, I don't think that's permanent, but I did kind of scrub it a little bit with a sponge. Didn't come out, so I'm not happy about that. But we have a cold pan here. We're gonna press this into the bottom. Adding about 1.5 ounces of hot water this time. Turning the burner on medium. I'll put this one on medium as well. Now this time I'm gonna wait for it to boil and not steam. All right, it's starting to boil, which was much faster than waiting for it to steam, so we're gonna go ahead and move forward. For this recipe, we're doing an open-faced grilled cheese sandwich, which is similar to what they show on the YouTube channel. The bottoms have been buttered, the top each has 2 slices of cheese. So we'll toss this in there and see what happens. Reducing to medium-low. And covering. Toss those in the Hexclad, cover that as well. One quick observation already out of the gate is with the pizza, there was steam with the Pacuzzi side and no steam without. Here I'm getting steam already on both sides, even with the one without the Pacuzzi. Now it's been a little over 2 minutes. On the video on YouTube, they said 2 minutes it should be done. Let's check these and see how they look after 2 minutes. Let's take a closer look here now. We have Pacuzzi on this side, the non-Pacuzzi on this side. I mean, brownness wise, they look pretty similar to me. Let's cut these open and take a taste and see if there's any difference there. I will say though that using the hot water and not waiting for it to steam, but waiting for it to boil, that was much faster. But they both seem kind of steamy inside, so I don't know if it really added much difference. We'll see. Pacuzzi grilled cheese looks good, nice and gooey inside. And the non-Pacuzzi grilled cheese looks good too. Let's take a taste. Here we go, Pacuzzi first. Good baseline. Non-Pacuzzi second. Pacuzzi. Non-Pacuzzi. I can't tell a difference. I don't see a difference. They're the same to me. They're the same. But I'm not giving up yet. I'm determined to find something that's better at than just not using it. So I got a couple more things set aside to try out. So let's do those next and see what we can come up with. All right, let's get started. Can it steam broccoli? We shall find out. First up, pan is cold. I hope so. Adding the Pacuzzi. Adding about 1.5 ounces of hot water. Setting the burner to medium. All right, it seems to be boiling now. I'm gonna add the mat this time. Adding my fresh broccoli. Covering it up and lowering it to medium-low. Actually, I think I can leave it at medium. I'm gonna leave it at medium and we'll see how long this takes. So I'll keep an eye on it and let you know if anything changes. We are at 5 minutes now. Oh, not done yet. Not done yet. Nope. I thought maybe it'd be done. It's not. I can't keep checking this too often or all my steam will escape, but I'll check back in a little bit and see what happens. Let's check after 10 minutes to see what we got here. I mean, it's looking pretty good, although that mat's getting kind of messed up. I'm gonna go ahead and take this out of here. All right, so here we are. So just looking at it visually, I'm a little bit on the fence. I treat it like a steamer. Now in a steamer, you don't really have to stir it. Because it's in a pan, maybe I should have stirred it. I wouldn't have got these brown marks. That doesn't mean it won't taste good though. Let's give it a taste here. Taste-wise, it came out perfect. It doesn't look as visually pleasing as some of my steamed broccoli does when I put it in a steamer, but it did taste perfectly fine. I should point out on their Instagram page, there is a video of them making broccoli, but it's from a bag you're supposed to just put in the microwave. You're supposed to steam it in the bag. I want a fresh broccoli, and I think the final result wasn't that bad. It took about 10 minutes. Maybe I should have stirred it so it wasn't brown on one side and not the other, but the final result's pretty good, so I will say you can steam broccoli in here, although you might want to stir it at least once halfway through the cycle. But that leads me to my final test. I'm still kind of on the fence about this one, but maybe my final test will come through in the clutch. They say this is good for rehydrating food and it's good for warming up leftovers. I've got some chicken nuggets and fries in the fridge from yesterday from McDonald's. We're not talking health food, but that's usually kind of hard to warm that up the next day and taste good. Let's see how it tastes in here. Last year I did the Ninja Crispy with some chicken nuggets and fries. That came out pretty good. Can the Pacuzzi also rehydrate and re-warm up some chicken nuggets and fries so they are still edible? Let's find out for my final test and we'll wrap this thing up. For my last test, I want to try a different pan this time. This one's a little bit deeper. The surface area in the bottom's a little smaller, but it is 12 inches. I'll make sure I stick it on the actual flat part of the pan itself. The pan is room temperature. Let's stick it on the flat part in the bottom here. Adding about 1.5 ounces of hot water. Put it on medium heat. Now we wait. Well, it looks like all the water just spilled out of here. So maybe I should start over again and use a different pan, because that one did not work. It all spilled out. Fail. Let's go back to the one that actually worked. Let's try this one. Sticking it onto the bottom of the cold pan. 1.5 ounces of hot water. Hexclad on medium heat. All right, I'm hearing some boiling going on there, so let's toss in our food and get started. 5 chicken nuggets. 5 chicken nuggets. Helping of fries. Helping of fries. Cover this up. Seems like Pacuzzi might come through for this one. I have high hopes, but we shall see. I'll stir this once halfway through and then let you know when it's done. All right, I think it's time to take these out of here. I did stir these around a couple of times, so let's pull these out of here and give it a taste test. And here we go. We have Pacuzzi here, non-Pacuzzi here. Let's take a closer look. This is the Pacuzzi nuggets and fries. This is without the Pacuzzi nuggets and fries. I'm not seeing a huge difference. Let's have a fry from each. First, the Pacuzzi fry. Crispy, not overdone, not too crispy. Non-Pacuzzi next. Crispier. A couple more Pacuzzi fries. There's kind of a range from moderately crispy to low crisp. Let's go back to the non-Pacuzzi here. Not a huge difference. Let's try a nugget now. Pacuzzi nugget. That's perfect. That's good. That tastes almost like the first day. Let's try the non-Pacuzzi nugget now. Not as crispy. I'll try a different one of each just to see the variation. Pacuzzi first. That's perfect. Non-Pacuzzi. That's pretty good too. I would say in that test, maybe the Pacuzzi just slightly edged out the pan by a couple percentage points. It wasn't a huge blowout. When you put them side by side, there is a slight improvement on the Pacuzzi side. I don't think a normal person just trying them separately would really notice a huge difference. If you ate them a day apart or an hour apart, you probably wouldn't notice any difference. Side by side, very slight improvement. Is it worth all that for such a slight improvement? I don't know. But let me ponder the pros and cons and then wrap this thing up. All right, let's wrap this thing up, shall we now? I did run these to the dishwasher. This one came out perfectly, it held up nicely. The mat, unfortunately, I really had to keep scrubbing it. Now I look at it in the bright light, I need to scrub it a little bit more. It seems like that was a little bit problematic to get completely clean. I only used it once. But let's talk about the pros and cons and the merits of the Pacuzzi here. I would say that it did work mostly as advertised, although maybe the results weren't as dramatic as I would have hoped. There was maybe a slight improvement with the pizza. It was a little faster, a little hotter. I was able to steam broccoli in a skillet, although I probably should have flipped it. The nuggets maybe were a marginal difference, if any, and the grilled cheese, I really didn't detect any improvement at all. So factoring in the price, which is about 30 bucks, for a relatively cheap piece of silicone, and the fact that you have very marginal results, I'm not sure if this is going to be something I will keep using. I'm not saying this without merit, but I don't think it's going to be something that I use. But that's all I've got. If you've tried the Pacuzzi or something like it, tell me what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time.